Narrated Abdullah bin Amr.
A man asked the Prophet, "What sort of deeds or what qualities of Islam are good?" The Prophet replied, "To feed the poor and greet those whom you know and those whom you do not know." Sahih Bukhari, number 12. The Book of Belief, Faith. Status, Sahih.
Narrated Abdullah bin Amr, a person.
Asked Allah's Apostle, "What sort of deeds in or what qualities of Islam are good?" He replied, "To feed the poor and greet those whom you know and whom you don't know." Sahih Bukhari, number 28. The Book of Belief, Faith. Status, Sahih.
Narrated al-Marur, at-Rabadai met
Abu Dhar, who was wearing a cloak, and his slave, too, was wearing a similar one. I asked about the reason for it. He replied, I abused a person by calling his mother with bad names. The Prophet said to me, "O Abu Dhar, did you abuse him by calling his mother with bad names? You still have some characteristics of ignorance. Your slaves are your brothers, and Allah has put them under your command. So whoever has a brother under his command should feed him of what he eats and dress him of what he wears. Do not ask them, slaves, to do things beyond their capacity, power, and if you do so, then help them." Sahih Bukhari, number 31. The Book of Belief, Faith. Status, Sahih. Narrated Asma bint Abi Bakr. The Prophet once offered the eclipse prayer. He stood for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing. He stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and prostrated a prolonged prostration. And then he stood up for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing and then stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then he bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and went for a prolonged prostration. On completion of the prayer, he said, "Paradise became as near to me that if I had dared, I would have plucked one of its bunches for you, and hell became so near to me that said, O my Lord, will I be among those people?" Then suddenly I saw a woman, and a cat was lacerating her with its claws. On inquiring, it was said that the woman had imprisoned the cat till it died of starvation, and she neither fed it nor freed it so that it could feed itself. Sahih Bukhari, number 745. The Book of Adhan, Sufati Salat. Status, Sahih.